This is AM 1220, KTLV, Midwest City, Oklahoma City.
The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed or products endorsed are not necessarily those of KTLV and its staff or management.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Clara Luper Radio Show. I tell you, here at KTLV, we're having a great time. And this promises to be a very exciting morning. I often say sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself, but I'm going to change that because we don't want you to relax anymore in Oklahoma City. We don't want you to relax anymore here in this listening audience because things are going on that we can no longer be relaxed about. But I do want you to sit back. I do want you to enjoy yourself. Make sure you have that pencil, that piece of paper handy so that you too can be a part of today, the Clara Luper Radio Show, live and in living color here on your station, KTLV. We want you to be a part of it. We'd like to welcome all of you and thank you for a very outstanding week. And we have a lot of topics that we will be talking about this week that will make for a very exciting show that will also serve to inspire you. So, Dean, if we're ready over there, we're going to get our little things together here and make sure that after Reverend Drinkwater left the studio, the mics are still a little jumping. That was very inspirational, a very inspiring sermonette, or whatever you like to call it. But it came from the heart, and I want you to know that those of you that heard it, you should have seen it because Reverend Drinkwater was really off into it, and I appreciate it because it's always an inspiration to see somebody that enjoys and loves what they're doing, especially when they tell it like it is, and that's exactly what you have heard the past few minutes and what you will hear here on the Clara Luper Radio Show. So people, get ready. Get ready for things that are going to be happening and get ready most especially for the things that we're going to tell you here that will help improve the way we can improve our city, our state, our home, our community, and make it a better place. Get that pen and pencil ready, 672-1220. We want you to be a part of today's show, the Clara Luper Radio. This part of the program is being brought to you by Merlin Hildred, your favorite Allstate insurance agent. You can reach Merlin today at 843-0811, or you can go by 730 West Britain Road. Merlin Hildred, your favorite Allstate agent, my favorite Allstate agent. She wants you to know that they're at Allstate, they're at her office at 730 West Britain Road, that you can get the best in insurance, that she will make sure that you have the very best coverage for your home, for your auto, and for your life. Tell her you heard about it here on the Clara Luper Radio Show. Good things will be happening. We're looking forward to some great people calling and being a part of today's show. I'm a little out of breath. Had to do a little running there. But then that's no problem because run to get back here on the air and to be a part of today's show because Dean and I are looking forward to some very special phone calls. That phone call may come from you because we're going to give you an opportunity once again to talk about anything that you'd like to talk about here on the Clara Luper Radio Show. Those of you who are wondering where Mom is today, if you were listening last week, you know that she's in Miami, Florida. Well, she's on her way back from Miami, Florida. Expect her back here sometime this morning because she will be at the Freedom Center where today we will be having those great catfish dinners, that great chicken dinner that will be there at the Freedom Center, 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue. Just go by there. You have an opportunity to look at the monument, to look at the walls, and to go into the Freedom Center itself and to enjoy the comradeship and the friendship that is there at the Freedom Center, 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue. Calvin Whitaker, one of the Youth Council advisors, Mr. C.P. Wilson, one of the Youth Council advisors, Mrs. Ray, one of the advisors, Mrs. Ford, Mrs. Hunter, all of those advisors will be up there assisting the young people today in helping to make sure that the Freedom Center, one, remains viable, two, that they prepare to go to the regional meeting that will be held in Tulsa, Oklahoma, coming up in March. As you're out during the course of the week, know that you have to take home some groceries. The best place to take those groceries home from is to stop by the Hometown IGA. They're at 2001 Northeast 23rd Street. Well, you can't miss. They got some great sales going on this weekend. Great meat sales, great canned goods sales, great veggie sales. All of that's going on at the Hometown IGA, 2001 Northeast 23rd Street. You know, when you get there at the corner of 23rd Street, you'll see the Ralph Ellison Library. I invite you to stop in there and to go in there and to meet the staff, but more importantly, go in there, make sure that you get your membership, that you get your library card so that you can go in there and get some books and read some books and learn some things because this has been a very special week, a very special month for the Ralph Ellison Library. Those young people in there are doing a fantastic job all year long, but during this month, they had last week the autograph signing for the black artists, the black authors, and the black poets here in this area. That was an affair that they held in association, I believe, was with the NTU persons from here in Oklahoma City. But it was a fantastic thing. I'll tell you a lot more about that in just a few minutes. But sit back. Make sure that you're a part of today's show now. You have that pen ready? You have that pencil ready? 672-1220 is the number out here. The number there at Merle and Hildred's office so that you can talk about your insurance needs is 843-0811. Now, don't call Hometown IGA. You need to go by there and make sure that you get the very best. So, Dean, let's tell them a little bit about what happened at Metro Tech. The young people there at Metro Tech had a program just yesterday, and the title of it was You Made a Difference, and it was presented by the Health Science Technology 1 class. I had an opportunity to be there because Mom was out of town. Well, I probably would have gone anyway, but I had an opportunity to be there and to accept an award that they gave Clara Luper, along with Reverend W.K. Jackson, Angela Munson, Lucretia Tingle. These people got special recognitions. They got little plaques that means a lot to each and every one of them. I know that it means a lot to Mom because she had called from Miami and said, Calvin, no matter what you do, make sure that you don't miss that event there at the Metro Tech. It was good to see those young people, black, white, Mexican, Indians, working together, being there in that auditorium and being a part of that atmosphere was really inspirational. It sort of felt like the AXO competition at the NAACP convention. Tamika Jones, thank you so much. Ms. Tingle, your overview of Black History Month was outstanding. And the poem Phenomenal Woman was done by Marcia Dawson. But then here comes the part of the program that I really found good. All of it was good, but this was really excellent because Lynn Foster, Marcia Dawson, Amika Brown, and Eunice Jones did an interpretive dance that was really inspirational to all of us that was there. But then here comes some of the cream, some of the icing on the cake because some young men from John Marshall High School, they call themselves the John Marshall Quartet, Robert Harris, Robert Kendrick, Richard Willis, and Tyrone Willis got together and they sung. I mean, these guys, they sung in beautiful harmony. And the whole room, the whole atmosphere was just great because of not only because of the dance, but because of the song that the John Marshall Quartet sung there. We look forward to hearing from them again, and I promise you that we will be in contact with Lynn Foster, Marcia Dawson, Amika Brown, Eunice Jones, Robert Harris, Robert Kendrick, Richard, and Terrence Willis again, because that talent is something that all of Oklahoma, that all of us need to be aware of that exists right here in our city. And these young people are there at Metro Tech, and they're learning something different, not only how to read and write and do their arithmetic, but then had an opportunity to see some of the examples of their work. They're in the health sciences technology classrooms. They're in the, I call it the cooking class because those people that were in that class had gotten together and they made a beautiful buffet that was ready there. Young people, instructors there at Metro Tech, Carol, and Dr. Wilson, who's a superintendent, Brother Demon, who's a deputy superintendent, Rose Tucker, Wanda Wolf, Lois Jones, Brenda Nixon, all of you. We want to thank you so much for the fantastic job you're doing there at our Metro Tech, located at Spring Lake Drive and North Martin Luther King. It's a beautiful campus. I invite all of you that are listening, one day during the course of your day, just take time out and go by there. And I'm certain that they'll give you a tour or they'll explain to you what's going on. But once you go in that Metro Tech building, once you see the dedication on the faces of those young people that are there, you too will be re-inspired and rejuvenated to get ready for whatever is happening here in Oklahoma City, because there are young people who are preparing themselves and making sure that they, too, are ready for the future. Good things happen when you listen to the Clara Luper radio show, and you learn about good things. One of the best things that's going on today is down at Gates Barbershop. Gates Barbershop, 2609 North Martin Luther King. Now, I'm not going to brag to you about how well he'll make you look, because God has already blessed you with some good looking. But when you go in Gates Barbershop, you better believe that you're going to come out of there looking a lot better than you have ever planned on being. Hey, you can even specialize in your own haircuts. You just tell Mr. Gates or Mr. Gamble what type of haircut you want and how you want your haircut to be. They can do it. Gates Barbershop, 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue. Once again, I want to remind you that starting about 10 o'clock, the catfish will be jumping there at the Freedom Center, 2609. The monument will be there for you to see, and we want you to go by. We want you to be a part of it. Mom, we're looking forward. We hope that you can call us, but I know it's going to be difficult. But no matter what, this is the Clara Luper Radio Show, live and in living color. We invite your comments, your reactions to this week's events. So sit back. You be a part of it. 672-1220 is the number out here. So, Dean, let me hear this song that I've been waiting to hear all morning, because that serves to kind of give me an additional drive, because I know that Mrs. Hunter, Mrs. Ford, Mrs. Ray, Mrs. Matthews, everyone will be there at the Freedom Center this morning for the catfish, for the fried chicken. Come by and you enjoy some of the best and get an opportunity to see what you have done, what you have helped to do here in Oklahoma City. I know you're going to love this. This goes out to a very special friend of mine. And I want to thank you so much for what you've done over the years to work with us, Mike Fulson. We know that your family is running into a crucial time during this past week. We want you to know that those of us out here, that we still love you and we appreciate the great work that you have done and that you will continue to do and your family will continue to do here in our city. This is out to you and your family, the Fulson family. That song goes out to a very special friend of all of us here at KTLV, especially those of us here on the Clara Luper Radio Show, our good friend Mike Fulson and his family during this time of struggling and straining. Mike, keep the faith. Hey, we're all counting on you. But on the line, I have a very dynamic young lady that's anxious to talk to me, anxious to tell me about some good things that will be happening this morning at the Freedom Center there at 2609 North Martin Luther King. Good morning. How are you doing this beautiful morning, Mrs. Hunter?
Good morning, Kelvin. I'm doing just wonderful. I'm sure I'm talking about some things that's happening at the Freedom Center, because we're having this fish dinner, and Miss CP's fish is up there frying that fish. So I know they like to wait CP Wilson, so I'm trying to get ready to go up there so I can be the person to have the first order of fish today. Now, all of you friends that's out there that's listening to us, come on up and eat with us at the Freedom Center. That's 2609 Martin Luther King, and enjoy some of that good old catfish. And we know that CP Wilson can fry that fish. And I'm so happy about the recognition that you received from Mrs. Luper on yesterday, Calvin. And I'm happy to know that other people are reaching out to help people also in the programs that you had mentioned. And I want to congratulate you for all of the contacts that you have made on people who were trying to improve and become, especially this quartet singing. I think you said they were a quartet. But the singing.
Those young men they were tough. They were outstanding. And I've been trying to remember the name of the song, but I got so mesmerized by the harmony that they had. And I don't know where John Marshall keeps coming up with that talent from there in the choir department, but they keep doing it.
Well, you talked about some talent. I was out at the at the Garden Oak School on Thursday afternoon. They had an assembly out there. And you should have been out there to hear those first, second, third, fourth, and fifth graders give a program of
At Garden Oak School?
At Garden Oaks.
Garden Oaks, okay.
Oh, Calvin, those kids out there are brilliant kids. They're really smart kids. And when we arrived, we went out to make a presentation, the Amigas Club did, because we wanted to help to see what can we do to help those kids continue their education. What do they need to help? So you won't believe
the Amigas Club.
We had enough pencils for every student that was in the building. And so the teacher will have on her desk a pencil holder and pencils for each student that she has in her class. And then she has some scissors if they need to cut out some articles out of the newspaper and things. We gave them some of those also. And we gave them some paper so they could have some paper to write ours, because we want every child to have a pencil and paper, because to write, I think, is one step toward learning. And Dr.
Right.
Parker and her staff are so very, very happy that we were doing this.
Mrs. Hunter.
Yes.
I just want to know a little bit about the Amigas Club and why you would go to a elementary school with pencils and paper, and what made the Amigas Club feel like they had to do that.
Usually each year we have some type of activity. So being the president or the chairman of the Amigas Club, I said, let's do something for our neighborhood schools. And then I suggested that we would give something to the neighborhood school, which is Garden Oak. And all of them are so glad and so elated to get those pencil holders and all those pencils and to get the paper. Each teacher received a pencil holder with 22 pencils in it, and they received some paper. So if the child came to class and didn't have a pencil and didn't have some paper to get his lesson, we can give it to him and give it to her or them, either one it may fall. So we were just so happy that we did this, and we're going to continue to do other projects for our neighborhood schools.
Who are some of the members of the Amigas Club?
Oh, the members of the Amigas Club, I can't tell you all of them, but I'm going to tell you who went with me to present these, and so I'll miss calling some names, and then they'll say, oh, Miss Hunter, you missed our name. But Nancy Davis, who was my vice president, went with me to present these pencils and paper and scissors, and Dorothy McLaughlin also went with me. And because we made these pencil holders, you know how you get these cans, and we cover them up with some beautiful coloring paper, and they're just going to be beautiful on the desk. So those two ladies went with me. But now let me see. We have Rosie Brown, we have Clara Luper, we have David Lee Hall, and we have Rosetta Coleman. We have Susan. Oh, my goodness, Susan. We have Marilyn Hillbeth. We have Kevin. I know I'm missing someone because I do not have the list.
Well, I just wanted to put you on the spot, too, because I know that your mind is...
Hunter, but I still want to tell them that song are fitting us. So now I want to tell the people that song fit the Freedom Center, so we are up there struggling, and we'd appreciate them coming by and buying dinners today. And if you don't want to come by and buy dinner, just come by and give us a donation. We would appreciate that. And we, too, are taking memberships for the NAACP. So we want to have some memberships by the time we go to the regional meeting. So just come by, and it would be nice if you come by just to see the building if you haven't done that and all the things that we have done there, because we are trying to help keep our community beautiful. So, Calvin, this is what I want to say, and I'm going to see you at the fish dinner.
You definitely will see me, because I'll be helping Mr. Wilson cook fish there this morning and this afternoon.
What time are you planning to start serving?
We're going to start serving this ready now. I mean, Mr. Wilson had it all together. Calvin Whitaker was there, and I think some of the people that were going in Gates Barbershop, they could already smell the good fish that was being cooked over there. So there's probably a line there at the monument at the Freedom Center, 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue.
I don't want my friends and my radio audience to be left out. So this is why I wanted to hurry up and get on there and tell them before all the people will be there, and they'd have to get at the end of the line. You know, I don't like a long line. So I want them to come early so they can come in and get their fish and sit down and eat and be comfortable. So I'll see you, Calvin. Bye now.
Bye now. Thank you so much, Mrs. Hunter. Mrs. Hunter had been waiting patiently while we were sending a tribute out to the Fulson family, and it's always good. Those of you who miss our arguments that we generally have, I want you to know that we still have our little conversations where we agree sometimes and we disagree most of the time, but our whole main goal is to make sure that we both express our opinions and try to come up with a plan, try to come up with some method that we can help make this city, this community, a better place. Together, we've done it there at the Freedom Center, working with the NAACP Youth Council, where young people from across this city, across this state, may come every Monday night at 7 p.m. and have a chance to work with, to be a part of the NAACP Youth Council experience. We're looking forward to the regional meeting coming up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. At that regional meeting, we will have an opportunity to see your NAACP board member, Shelley Luper. We will have an opportunity to see your NAACP Youth Work Committee member, Alicia Hildred, who's the president of the Oklahoma City NAACP Youth Council. And you will have an opportunity to, there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to be a part of the NAACP experience, we invite you. We invite you to not only by your membership today or any day, but especially today, we invite you to become an active member of the NAACP. Those of you who were in attendance last week at the over on Northeast 23rd in front of my friend the governor's home, across the street from Mrs. Simpson's house. But those of you who were in attendance there, you saw the power of the NAACP, NAACP Youth Council working together. Also, some of our state representatives, I think Kevin Cox had some effect on the meeting. I believe he sent some cookies over, and Opio Toure, Representative Toure had sent some punch, and the president of the NAACP adult branch, Brother Milton, was there. There were just, there must have been 100, 150, 200 people there that were concerned not only with what the plans are for Northeast 23rd Street, but the overall plan for the black community. And thank all of you for coming out. I think we made a difference. I know we made a difference. But what we've got to do is remain vigilant. We've got to keep our eye on the prize. We've got to keep our eye on what people are doing to make sure that you don't achieve that prize. That is, if we continue to be led astray, continue to be bumfounded by the fact that somebody can say that this will happen, and then you look up and a year later, 6 months later, the same old plan is in effect but under a different name, we have to stay on our alert. And that's what the NAACP, that's what the NAACP Youth Council is all about. Each and every Monday night, the NAACP Youth Council meets at Freedom Center. Be a part of it. I have some articles, some things that I want to read out of two books today. One is Behold the Walls by Clara Luper, and another one is by a young lady that is dynamic. And I had an opportunity to pick up this book at the autographing party that the Ralph Ellison Library had out to the Kirkpatrick Center, and it will be from About God and other stuff. But I'll get to that, and I promise you I will, because I have to, because it's on my agenda. I made a little agenda this morning. I said I'm going to follow it all the way down the line, even to the point where I tell you about exotic florists and where they have moved to. Now, exotic florists is not there in the Spring Lake Shopping Center anymore. Exotic Florist is located at 29th and North Lincoln Boulevard. That phone number stays the same up there. I'm not going to tell you right now, but you better look it up. Better get that pen and pencil ready for when I do tell you. But Exotic Florist, hey, they can take care of all your floral needs. I know those of you who called on them during the Valentine Day activities, I know that you found that Exotic Florist did an outstanding job. But any of your floral needs, Exotic Florist, that's the place to be. Good things happen when you listen to the Clara Luper Radio Show, and we're waiting on a special phone call from a good friend, brother of mine, Bobby Battle, that has some outstanding things that he wants to talk about that we all can help with today here on the Clara Luper Radio Show. So sit back, don't relax, stay on the Clara Luper Radio Show. You hear about the very best things that are going on in Oklahoma City. On August the 27th, 1958, 85 black youths arrived at a luncheonette in the basement of John A. Brown's store. We stood all day because luncheonette employees had removed the chairs. Everybody was tense that day. Richard James Adams, a 23-year-old white youth, was arrested on a charge of disorderly conduct after he walked up to Darrell May, a 15-year-old black center, and slugged him. John A. Brown's, Oklahoma-born, Oklahoma-owned, and Oklahoma-managed, would become the Bunker Hill of the sit-in movement. So we began to plan an all-out concentrated effort to break down the wall at John A. Brown's. This would be a long, hard fight. It was John A. Brown's every day in some form or another. The blacks that worked there were proud of us. They'd tell us about conditions and attitudes that were developing. Roberta Sledge was our key reporter. Finally, we were able to solicit some white support in different departments who said that we were right and they were going to help us. However, they could not let the management know about it. Sometimes we would return to Brown's with a large crowd, then some days there were just a few. We always knew that Linda Pogue, Rita Tolliver, Michael Clayton, Ornetta Carmichael, Sally Harris, Richard Brown, Lana Pogue, Merlin Luper, Zella Hull, and Calvin Luper would be there. The crowd would always increase on Saturdays. Brown's provided daily conversations for Oklahoma. What happened at Brown's today? I knew that was the question when I answered my telephone. This is from Behold the Walls by Clara Luper. It's a little part in here that goes on a little further that talks about John A. Brown's. about one of our advisors. And I find this really interesting, and it's on page 26 of the book, Behold the Wall. I looked up, and to my surprise, I saw Nancy R. Davis, the first black student to enroll at Oklahoma State University in Stillwater, Oklahoma. As she was entering John A. Brown's, a white lady deliberately stepped on her feet and cursed her. Nancy lost her temper. I rushed over to tell Nancy to go home and start a prayer campaign for us. She could not be of any service to us down here in the lion's den. By this time, the mean-looking, skinny little woman moved over. I moved away from her, walked over to Nancy and told her that I didn't want to see her at another sit-in demonstration. You're just not ready for nonviolent demonstrations, Nancy. You're violent. You hurt us. Clara, you ought to stop. We don't have to go through all of this. Get the kids and let's go home. Why don't you quit, Nancy said. I said, goodbye, Nancy. As I looked at the kids, I continued to hear Nancy's words. Why don't you quit? This is a question that I'd asked myself. I thought this would be an easy struggle and a quick victory, but this is going to be a different wall. There's no telling what will happen. I was frightened inside. I wanted to cry. I wanted to take my kids and run. At that very moment, Zella Hall started singing, freedom, freedom. Everybody wants freedom. Theodosia Crawford wants freedom. A. Willie James wants freedom. Clara Luper wants freedom. Nancy Davis wants freedom. Everybody wants freedom. That's just a little highlights of the book, from the book, Behold the Walls by Clara Luper. Found that a little inspirational today because Aunt Nancy has learned to control her temper in different ways, but then you still can say things that make her mad. But one of the most difficult times that I think all of us had was seeing someone abused or someone misused there during the sit-in movement. Thank you so much, Aunt Nancy Davis, Theodosia Crawford, A. Willie James, W.K. Jackson, many others whose names I will not have not called yet, but thank you so much for what you did back then. This part of the program is being brought to you by a dynamic young lady that has a program that is great for all of us. She got a mobile music studio that we can listen to, that we can pick our very favorite albums off of. Sit back, don't relax, but stay alert. Make sure that you find out something that you can do for your community, for your city, to help make it a better place. Mrs. V's, now she has a new thing that is very exciting. I got my good friend Bobby Ballard I'll be talking to in just a minute, but I want to remind all of you about the exotic plants and florists. I told you where it was located there at 29th and Lincoln. I think the correct address is 3620 North Lincoln Boulevard. Phone number up there, 443-9684. You can ask for Sylvia. They're an exotic florist. Now, they take phone orders. You can call them at 396-8427. I'm looking forward to telling you about Passion Home Health Care, Chauncey Cherdina's, JJ's Gifts, and more. A lot more about Allstate Insurance, a lot more about Gates Barbershop. Right now, I have a young man on the phone line that listens to the Clara Luper radio show diligently. He's actually a part of it. Sometime when we can catch up with him when he's not too busy reporter, but he's always on the job. My good friend, your good friend, a young man that cares about this city, this state, his block, and this whole nation. Bobby, how are you doing this morning?
Fine, Calvin. How you been?
Fantastic, man. Second best day of my life.
Right. You're one more year older also, too, aren't you, brother?
And about another year more handsome.
I heard that, Calvin.
Okay. Tell me, what have you been doing, Bobby?
So far, pretty good. We've just been working around in the community in the, as they call, the upper echelon of our political statuses here. And so far as getting prepared as ex-offenders and pretrial detainees, we're going to participate heavily in the upcoming voting process. And this is something I wanted to...
Well, what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to participate heavily in the voting process. What does that mean to those of us would like to be politicians that haven't raised enough money to run a campaign yet, but those politicians who have run a campaign, what are you telling us?
Well, first of all, basically, there's been rumors in and out over the years that I've worked in getting ex-offenders registered to vote. There's been various rumors that, they can't. And so we want to clear the air once and for all that ex-offenders does have the right by the Oklahoma Constitution to register and vote. And we're right now registering ex-offenders in all 77 counties of the state of Oklahoma.
So what does an ex-offender have to do? All the
ex-offender has to do is to stop at any of the registered locations or call me at 840-1381 to get registered to vote. There was some misinformation given out here recently. What was Friday a week ago, when the polls closed to those people to get registered and vote. By this misinformation that they couldn't vote, a lot of people didn't register. But after March 12th, they will be eligible to vote, so they can still get registered. And that's what we're doing now, is making sure that the information is out that ex-offenders who have served their time and their sentences expired, they do have a right to register, and they can vote in the upcoming elections here in this state and in the presidential elections.
All right.
Also,
Bobby.
those that are on deferred sentences, they can register and vote at any time.
So those people who have recently gone through the judicial process, I really hate to call them ex-offenders or offenders and all that, because some of us make mistakes and we have to pay for them. All of us make mistakes that we have to pay for, but we pay for them in different ways. But if you have made a mistake and you no longer think that you can vote, then all you have to do is just go down there and what do you need to take special ID, or what's the deal?
No, you don't need to take any special ID at all, Calvin. All that's necessary is to stop at one of the agencies. Now they moved the registrars into various agencies where you can stop by and get registered to vote. And we have a booth set up at out here on Wilshire, right off the Broadway extension, at Barry's Manufacturing, clothing manufacturing.
Where?
At 113 West Wilshire.
113 West Wilshire.
Right.
And that's an additional place that could you register today?
Yes.
Okay, well, after they come by the Freedom Center and enjoy that great catfish that Mr. Wilson's
and they
up
can
there.
also, I'll be at the Freedom Center later on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave some applications there. And all that is necessary is for them to fill the application out. If they do not want to mail it into the county election board, we will pick them up and take them to the county election board, where they will be recorded, and a registered voter's card will be mailed to them.
Well, one thing about it is that when you look back and when you look around, you know that ex-offenders have opinions too. They definitely have an impact on the community. Voting is another impact that people can have. And I'm so proud of you, Bobby, for going out and making sure that these people don't get down on themselves, don't get too depressed with the fact that they've made a mistake, but that they can recover and that they can work. And that's a hard job to do, man. So just pat yourself on the back one time for me and for those of us here on the Clara Luper Radio Show, because we know you're doing a great job. And we look forward to seeing you on Monday nights at the Freedom Center. We know you're there. We know the times have been hard. The weather's been very difficult for all of us. But, Bobby, we know you're there with us, and we know that you, too, are working to improve our city, our state. That's what it's all about.
Also, Calvin, while we're on the subject, and I want to make certain that the brothers and sisters that are locked up in the city and county jail who have not been convicted of anything, they, too, have a right to register and vote. And the only thing they need to do is make request to any officer, make it known to any officer that they would like to register and vote. Even though they are not out, they can vote by absentee ballot. And we will be certain that a register gets over there to get them registered to vote. That's in the county jail and the city jail.
Well, Bobby, you think they're letting them listen to us down there in the county jail?
Oh, yes. Some brothers and sisters got radios down there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's...
Right, definitely.
That's good. We want to say hello to all of them. We want to wish that you were out here being a productive part of the community. But while you're there, take full advantage of your time. Improve yourself. And do something good and register to vote. All you got to do is tell the jailer, hey, man, I'm interested in voting. Is that right?
That's right.
That's all you have to do.
That's right. And if they have any problems, then all they need to do is contact our office, which is 840-1381.
Okay.
And let us know about the matter. Because no more are we going to sit back and allow a certain group of people to control everything that goes on in our communities. That is over and done with.
Well, you're absolutely right, Bobby. But you know what I like what you're doing is that these young people, or these people that have made mistakes, that are having to pay for those mistakes now, or even been accused falsely in many instances. But if you're there in the county jail, keep your faith, man. Keep it up, and just know that you're doing you can do something to improve this city and this state, and that's by standing up for what has happened. If you made a mistake, do your time, but come out and be a positive influence on our community.
That's right. That's right. And as Cecil used to say all the time,
as Cecil L. Williams, our great radio personality, our NACP Youth Council advisor, and a great inspiration to all of us.
Yeah, Cecil, he and I used to do shows and things together, and we always would say it's better to go down standing up than it is laying down because you're going anyway.
Oh, man, it is tough. That is a responsibility that we all have to make sure that we walk and carry ourselves in a way that we don't have that problem. But, Bobby, good things happen when you listen to the Clara Luper radio show.
Exactly.
I want you to be a part of it. You notice that I'm not saying sit back and relax anymore, because that relaxation, no telling what might happen. So I should say sit back, kind of tense yourself up a little bit. Don't get too tense, but be aware of what's going on around you.
We're a part of making that change, you know.
Making that change.
We have people that have a vast amount of knowledge and input, and they seem to want to keep it to themselves. But we have a lot of young brothers and sisters out there that we can give this information to and show them, whereby they won't have to take as many hard knocks as we did to learn it. And it might keep them out of trouble.
Now, you're absolutely right about that.
Citizens. And that's what it's about. It's not about one person gathering all the information to become the idol of the community. There's no idol in the community. We need to start to be in full-fledged quarterbacks. Take the information that we've gathered and pass it on to somebody else.
That's what it takes. You know, we all can't run with the ball. We need some blockers, some pass catchers, and all that. Hey, man, but I know that you're working on it. I know that we in the NACP Youth Council are working on it. I know that those of us in many of our churches are working on it. I know that it can and it shall be done. It has to be done, because we want this city, we want this place to be a better place. But, Bobby, I have in my hand a book, and it's called About God and Other Stuff, from a great young lady named Ela Asher Hill. So I want you to, kind of hang back and listen to this, because Mrs. Hill has gone through a lot of problems, but she's also been a very productive part of our community. She writes, I presented this manuscript to a friend who immediately said, without looking at the material, Ela, what gave you the notion that you could think, let alone write? What gave you that idea, huh? My answer, well, as quiet as it is kept, I do lots and lots of thinking. My head is always filled to the brim with ideas and thoughts. Not that any of them are worth the paper they're written on, but they are mine. I have to claim ownership of them. Nobody else will do so. And in this book, she has a hodgepodge, she calls it, of material. One letter in that reacts to the burning of Freedom Center in 1968.
Right.
It's not the same Freedom Center we're talking about on Martin Luther King, but it was another Freedom Center. But Mrs. Hill's daughter, Dr. Forrest Hill's daughter, Eletta Hill, wrote this. And I'll read the whole page here. It says, the Times, this is the editor's note, Times teen page correspondent Eletta Asher submitted the following story. Since she is active with the NACP Youth Council and a Douglas High School student, this story is in her own words. The burning of the Freedom Center left me kind of empty, said Eletta. Maybe it wasn't much to adults or even to a teenager across town, but to us it was wonderful, like a dream we built ourselves. Maybe it didn't look like much, but it was all we had, and it was all ours. We built it literally from the ground up. We scraped, we painted, we washed dishes, just to have a little something of our own. Maybe the rich, white, or Negro cannot understand, but it was all ours, every last broken down stick of furniture in it. There we learned about the democratic process by applying parliamentary rules to ourselves. And perhaps even more practically, many of us were learning to type, file, answer phones, and take messages in a manner which would help us in later life. Now, Eletta wrote that in September 19, 1968. We're doing those same things plus more at the Freedom Center that's now located at 2609 Martin Luther King. Bobby, you know where it is. Many of the offenders, ex-offenders out there, they know where it is. Exactly. So I want all of you to come by and see what the Freedom Center is today, see how that same impression and see how that same attitude still prevails in all of us that work there at the Freedom Center.
Right, and I'd like to give a special invitation, because I very seldom see them there, is to our elected officials. You're welcome there also.
Well, thank you so much. On behalf of all our elected officials, they know that. They know where the Freedom Center is. Oftentimes we've been out there, they pass and blow their horn. But we look forward to them stopping too and being a part of it. But Bobby, you know how things go here on the Clara Luper Radio Show. We run a little short on time. We run long on ideas and a lot of things that we'd like to talk about, a lot of things we'd like to really point out. But then the big thing is that we know that you are still doing a positive job. We know that there at the Freedom Center, the advisors, they are still working with the young people in this community, doing a positive job. But here's something that you don't know, that there at Langston University, coming up on it came up on February the 24th at the I.W. Young Auditorium. The Miss Langston pageant will be held. Jacqueline Compter, Toshia Cudjoe, Ebony Cullen, Katria Mays, Shayna Proctor, Lynette E. Roberts, all of them were participants in the Miss Langston pageant. One of those participants will be in the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant. Also noted at Langston University that the athletic department is continuing to excel. We know that at Langston University that there is a space there for you. If you're worried, if you're concerned about continuing your education, think Langston University. But then, at that age, when you get to Langston, you've had to prepare yourself real well. And it's very important because at Chauncey Cherdina's, it has two locations now, not one, but Chauncey Cherdina's Daycare Center is located at 1643 Northeast 50th Street. Phone number 424-4656. Also is located at 2611 North Martin Luther King. That phone number 427-5274. Now you wonder why preschool daycare? Why worry about that? Because we want you to continue to grow in education. We want you to continue to grow mentally. You do that with a firm foundation. Chauncey Cherdina's, they can take care of it. They do it. Chauncey Cherdina's Daycare Center, 1643 Northeast 50th Street. So that's the little building blocks that we're dropping off to you. I would play another song, but I'm down to 6 minutes here. And my good friend, my fellow sign holder, my great minister over there is waiting to come on. But I know that he too has something that he's going to share with this community. Because one of the things that you find here on KTLV, one of the things that you find when you listen to this radio station is that there are people here who are concerned not about themselves, but about the future, our kids' future, and our kids' kids' future. Another thing that's going on here in Oklahoma City this week will be the preparations for the Miss Black America pageant. The Miss Black Oklahoma City pageant will be coming up. Another great thing that's happening is the NACP National Convention that will be held in Tennessee this year. But before you go to the National, you have to go to the regional. We of the Oklahoma City NACP Youth Council will be attending the regional meeting that will be held in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we will be there representing our great city. We will be expressing our concerns about events that have happened here and how we can make some changes, how we can make some improvements and things that will be going on during the next year. Our president, Alicia Hildreth, will be leading the delegation over there, and we anticipate a large delegation that will be at the regional meeting. But they'll be there. But then they will be realizing that somewhere, someplace, that there's some young people, there's some people there with some young ideas that have played a very important role in them getting there. But thanks to Passion, Home, and Health Care, these people still are playing an active part in our lives because Passion, Home, Health Care cares about all of us. They care especially about those senior citizens, those citizens who are unable to go to the grocery store, who are unable to do a lot of the little things that used to be, that are important, but they are unable to do that. But Passion Home Health Care is located there at 38 Northwest 36. That's their main office number. But they're actually located there at your home because they come out. They take care of our loved ones who may be crippled now, who may be sick, and who need our help. Passion Home and Health Care. You can call them at 943-5779. And when you call them, tell them you heard about it here on the Clara Luper radio show, here on KTLV, because of the fact that we know that we want you to have the best, and the best is through Passion Home Health Care, Chauncey Cherdina's, Gates Barbershop, Hometown IGA, Merlin Hildreth, Allstate Insurance, Mrs. V's with her mobile records, Exotic Plants and Florists. But then one place I haven't told you about, one place that you need to know about, and that is JJ's Gifts and More, where JJ's, they have all sort of gift baskets. They have all sorts of Afrocentric designs and cards and fashions. They have wedding invitations. They have collectible dolls and even more. They're located there at 1033 Northeast 36th Street. You can call them, but they're open from 8 to 5 each and every day except Sunday. You can call them at 424-3104 or 424-5509. JJ's Gifts and more. Silk flower arrangements, balloons, and those gift baskets, those collectibles. All of that's available to it. But as we wind down this show, we can tell you about those people that have been active in business and are trying to do things to help improve this community. We can also mention the people there at Granddad's Restaurant that have a very special treat going on this weekend. Granddad's Restaurant located there at North 30th and Lincoln Boulevard. You've got to go by there and enjoy some of that great food. Granddad's Restaurant. As you go through your week, look around you. Make sure that you do something positive to help this community. Make sure that you do something positive to help yourself and your family. You can do it. We can do it. We can read through Behold the Walls and be re-inspired. We can read through the book that Mrs. Ela Asher Hill has written about God and other stuff and be inspired. We can go by Ralph Ellison Library and read many of the books, all of the books that black authors from Oklahoma City area. Another book I want to mention, the one by Mrs. Cudjoe, that's available there at the Ralph Ellison Library. You can go by there and check out a copy of that and read it. But then there's always that great book that every home should have, the Bible. You can read that. But you're going to find that what's in the Bible will help you. What's in the books by Ela Asher Hill, Mrs. Cudjoe, Clara, Luper, and the other black authors will also help you. Together, all of that together can help make you a better person. I invite you to accept the challenge this week. Be a better person. Do a better thing. And do your job a lot better. Do your job so well that no one can say that they could do it better. This is Calvin Luper. I've been so glad to be your host today on the Clara Luper Radio Show. I don't know if Mama will be back next week, but if she's not, I hope to be back. But I hope that you're back. I hope that your family is well and safe. I hope that you do something to make this place a much better place to live in. We love you so very much. Thank you, Brother Gates. Hope we came through loud and clear. And I want to remind all of you that today at the Freedom Center, from 10 o'clock on, we have the Catfish Dinners. We got a very special dinner that we have up there, especially for you. Bring somebody by. Look at the monument that you've helped make a part of. We love you dearly. Look forward to talking to you again next week.
This is AM 1220, KTLV, Midwest City, Oklahoma City.
Ooh.